What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Real Ones Canes podcast. This is it right there on my microphone. If you're watching, the man sitting next to me virtually is Cam Underwood. He's managing editor, StateOfTheU. Follow them on Twitter at the StateOfTheU. He's also sometimes, every once in a while, at Underwood Sports. I'm Brian the Beast London. I don't manage really anything, but you can follow me at Miami Radio Beast. Cam, it has been a hectic time. It is a hectic time in the London household. It was my dad's birthday, and then it was my big birthday. I don't want to talk about it.
There we go. Burying the lead. So before we get started, my good friend and co-host, happy birthday to you.
Thank
you. I know you were celebrating last week and everything, and like you said, you had your father's birthday before that, and Memorial Day, and just coming off the back of Mother's Day and whatnot. So yeah, busy time, but yeah, man, happy birthday. I'm glad you got to get away.
We haven't even gotten to the big stuff yet, but my wife and kid got me this.
Hey. Nice, a hurricane.
For those of you that are listening, it's a neon lit up Sebastian that eventually I'll get around to hanging behind me somewhere if I can find room, and then all of the beautiful people can see it when we do the show on the YouTube and all that stuff. My kid graduates from high school on Monday, so that's happening. And that means families in town, and we have parties and lunches and all sorts of stuff, and then we're traveling up to the Northeast the end of next week. And also, I have not announced this.
Breaking news.
And I will do, at some point in time when I want to go on a rant, I will, about my alma mater. But to make a long story short, my kid will be spending his time in college in Tallahassee. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
As soon as I breaking news that I haven't said, I was like, oh my God, Zach is going to go to Florida State. Lord goodness.
Loves the film school up there, and it's a good film school. And listen, I'll be honest with you, and we did talk about this a little bit when I was doing the college trips. Listen, the city of Tallahassee is, I'm trying to find a word that is not filled with. It just is. It's not.
It exists.
It is a place I'd rather not go to. But I will give our respected rivals, Florida State, some props. They've done a nice job with that campus in making it a place that at least is somewhere that I could see my son having a good time and getting his education forever long that takes and all that stuff. So, I don't like the fact that it's an 8-hour drive. I don't like the fact that you can't get there from here. There's no trains. There's no flight service, although Breeze is starting something. I've never even heard of that airline. But we'll deal with that as we deal with that. So there's that. So there's a lot going on in the London household, which brings us to the Miami Hurricanes, because there's been a lot going on in Miami Hurricanes land. But we did not do a show last week because of all the aforementioned things happening. So we are back, and we'll start, I think, because there's a lot of recruiting, football recruiting to get to, football schedule stuff to get to, there's basketball schedule stuff to get to, but I want to start with baseball.
Oh, okay. Curveball, actually.
Yeah, I did. I threw a curveball. Nice. Miami Hurricanes got to the semis of the ACC tournament. They lost to Georgia Tech, which we knew they would because Georgia Tech's one of the best teams in the country, and probably the best team in the ACC. And they got
winning the tournament. By the way, Georgia Tech did. So give them as well.
Yeah, and Miami got clobbered, and that's fine. And pitching and defense, and of course, but
you need those.
Yeah, you do. Miami will, of course, because of course. There's all sorts of projections. Oh, they're going to go to Austin. They're going to go here. No, they're going to end up in Gainesville because they always do. Miami will go to Gainesville. They will start their postseason run against Troy Friday night. We are recording this on Thursday afternoon, so if you're listening to this on the day it comes out, which will be Friday, it'll be tonight. There's some mixed messaging as to where that game will be broadcast, whether it's an ACC network or an ESPN Plus or the Ocho or something. Regardless, you'll find the game somewhere. Troy is actually a decent team. They played one of the toughest schedules in the country because out of the Sun Belt, they decided to basically take all comers when it comes to their out-of-conference opponents. So they do have a really tough strength of schedule, and they are a decent team, so I would not take them lightly. I have a couple questions I want to ask you, but what I want to do first, Cam, and I'm sorry I haven't let you really talk yet, which is I just want to go back. Most of my memories of us playing in Gainesville have not been good.
Yeah.
But there was like a 2-year span. It was 2003, 2004 when we beat them back-to-back up there. Mm-hmm. And for me, one of the highlights of doing play-by-play of UM baseball was calling the game when Jim Burt Jr., I think, hit a walk-off game-winning double against the Gators. That was like a winner-take-all game situation. Jim Burt Jr. hits that, and his dad, Jim Burt Sr., who played for the University of Miami Hurricanes football team, jumped over the fence from the stands and went to go hug his kid. Like while the runner was coming home to, like score the winning run, and Jim Burt's on the field hugging his kid as the team celebrated. It was unbelievable. And nice. I got to do play-by-play of that game up in Gainesville. That's one of the best memories I have of being on the Hurricanes broadcast, was that baseball memory. That's awesome. Also, that game, I can tell you, someone that is now a very big-time professional broadcaster happened to be at that game and is not a fan of the Gators, and found himself walking by a closet where the Albert costume was stored, and decided he would take it upon himself to walk into that closet, close the door, and go number one inside Albert's head.
Okay, then.
So that was also a memorable time for that, and I will not name who that person is, but they are a big-time broadcaster at the current moment, way bigger than I am, and every once in a while we will message back and forth about that time, and it is great. Cam, baseball, Gainesville. Listen, I'm never confident that Miami is going to win a regional up there, despite the heroics of Jim Burt Jr. I just talked about. It's a tough road ahead, and you and I have been on the same page that it is Omaha or bust for this program, so we will see what happens. Originally, I was going to say, hey, Cam, what do you think about not starting Rob Evans against Troy, because you want to maybe save him, hope that you win that game, get to the winner's bracket, save him for a game against the Gators. It's a double elimination. Any thoughts there, possibly?
I think that's what you have to do. I think you have to go, with someone else and save number 9, your talented lefty. I think first or second team all conference. I think you have to save Rob Evans for game 2. And so the way that things work for the uninitiated, there's 16 pods they call regionals, and the team that wins that goes on to supers, and then the 8 that win those go to the College World Series. So seed 1, the host, plays number 4, so Florida plays somebody else, and then they play Ryder, and then we play Troy in the 2-3 game. And again, it's double elimination. So if you lose the first game and you're in the loser's bracket, you've got to win that game to have a chance against whoever, probably the 1 seed who makes it, and then you got to win 2. Or if you're in the winner's bracket, then you're probably going to play the 1 seed, and then if you win 1, then you only need to win 1 more to go to supers. However it breaks down, whether you're trying to beat Florida at Florida to get to the regional championship game, basically, or keep your season alive if you happen to lose to Troy, you want your ace pitcher out there in that second game. That's pretty commonplace, especially when you're like the bigger, better team, like the more established program, right? You're probably going to do that. So I think I would understand why JD Arteaga might choose to throw Rob Evans in the first game. But if you do that, I don't know that that's the wisest allocation of resources. I think you've got to save him for that second game, because if you can beat Florida, if you're in the winner's bracket and you beat Florida and you get to one win away from supers, it's worth it. And if you lose the first game and your back is against the wall, you got to keep the season going. So I think you want your best pitcher there. So, I mean, I know that I kind of gave a little bit of backstory for the people listening, but yeah, I think that saving Rob Evans for game 2, regardless of opponent, regardless of game 1 result, is the move.
Yeah, I can remember, a bazillion trips where I'd be on the road, going to do play-by-play of one of these regionals, or super regional when we used to go to them, or the College World Series when we used to go to that, thinking about how at the time Jim Morris was going to handle the pitching staff in those double elimination, or you have to win 2 out of 3 situations, because do you want to start it depends on who you're playing in the matchups and all of that stuff, but do you want to win the first game, but then all of a sudden you're trying to go with Charlie Holstaff the second game, or you have to win 2 all this stuff. So nothing would surprise me about what JD Arteaga might do and how he would handle the pitching staff.
Right.
I would just leave that at that. But yeah, I agree with you that I would not start Rob Evans in game 1 against Troy and see if I can get through that without using my best pitcher. I think that's probably the way to go.
And I mean, you're going to be Johnny Holstaff anyway. Like, if you go with Lachi, Laz Calero, right? God forbid he's getting shelled in the second inning. Okay. We got other guys, there's midweek starters. There's other guys on this team. You're going to put them out there. You're just not going to ride him out there and just let him, get completely shelled for 5 innings, be down 13-2 hypothetically, and then just, turn it over to the bullpen. You're probably going to have a shorter leash. And then it's going to put more pressure on Rob Evans in that hypothetical scenario in game 2. But regardless, you kind of have to do that. But, the hitters have to show up as well. Sosa and Williams leading the charge, of course. Alvaro Alvarez, the catcher, looks like a future superstar, the freshman, along with Sosa as well. You got plenty of bats in there, but, you got to do that. But you got to play better defense, and you have to pitch well. So that's just really what it is. I mean, but come the end of the day, Florida is the number 8 national seed, which means they're hosting regionals. They would host a super up there as well.
Right.
So basically, they're expected to win this regional and
Correct.
Expected to win supers. I would be lying to you and the people if I really expected Miami to overcome that.
No.
I am hopeful. I will be rooting for the University of Miami Hurricanes baseball team. My first love, as you all well know. I struggle to see a reality where that actually happens.
You already lost 2 to the Gators at home this year. The third game was rained out.
Got swept.
Yes. No, you got swept. And now you're playing at their park, which is a tough place to play. I've been there a million times watching the Canes and Gators play baseball. So, yeah, it's an uphill climb for Miami, and and people will be we'll do the autopsy whenever the season is over. But just getting ahead of it, if Miami does not get out of this regional, there will be plenty that will say, "Oh, well, they had a good season. They did, blank, blank, blank." And again, I will say, because we get into this in our group chat, which is, you have a standard in football that Mario has set. Why does that not go for every other program in the athletic department? And sure, the expectations are, according to the sport, right? But we know that basketball is capable of getting to the Final Four, so the expectations are that they should have a pretty high motor now that Jay Lucas has shown us they can get to the NCAA tournament. That stuff. Baseball has won the title. There's no reason why that program should not be competing for the title every year. That's just, I'm not going to change my opinion on that. I'm not going to go, well, gee, we had a good year. Can't wait for the off season.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. No, the standard is the standard, and the standard for Miami Hurricanes baseball is Omaha, period. That's what it is. So, and there were people that, the announcement came out, I tweeted about it at, the State of the U, and people were talking about, well, it's not the matchup we wanted. Don't care, go win. I mean, or don't, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, but
by the way, listen, to be honest with you, if you're at any of the national seeds, it's an uphill climb.
Exactly.
Regardless. So and Miami wasn't hosting because they dug themselves in a hole. So, listen, you're going to have to go win somewhere.
And also as well, in addition, I just want to put out there, I'm sure when people are talking about, well, just wait for next season and all of these recruits, Lombard, so the younger brother of George Lombard, I forget, Jacob, I think his name is, the prospect for the Yankees,
Right.
The shortstop. His younger brother is as good, if not a better prospect. He's signed with Miami. He's getting drafted in the top 5. He's not making it to the campus. Oh, well, we got Gio Rojas from Stoneman Douglas, and they just won their 6th state championship in a row. And he's this lefty who's actually at this stage of progression. He's better than Jesus Luzardo was, because, Luzardo tore up his elbow as a senior, and then Gio Rojas is getting drafted in the top 10. So if you're trying to bank it on, these couple, and there's probably another couple of recruits who are going to get drafted highly and not make it to campus. So if you're looking at the recruiting class, right, you go on D1 Baseball or Baseball America or any other website, right, you can see, oh my God, they have these truly incredible high school kids. And Gio Rojas went 11-1 with a .34 ERA and 134 strikeouts in 92 innings as a senior. And he pitched the state championship game and da-da-da-da-da. He's never wearing orange and green, guys.
Yeah, so, that is the factor in baseball that really makes recruiting a cluster, because you want to recruit the best guys possible, but the best guys possible end up going to the next level. They never take a stop in college. I saw recently Miami was getting some transfers, and maybe that'll help and what have you. But again, the standard should be the standard, and we're not going to waver from that. We will take a break.
Agreed.
Cam, we're going to get into football recruiting, because a lot of big visitors are going to be on campus this week. Miami struck out on the tight end position a little bit, but does that matter? Does it not? We'll find out. And some schedule stuff as well as relates to football and basketball. That and more coming your way on the other side. You're listening and watching the Real Ones Canes podcast. Back here on the Real Ones Canes podcast. Hey, for everyone that's watching and listening, please subscribe, please share, please like, please comment. And if you could, if it's a rating system on wherever podcast app you're listening to this, give us 5 stars. It really makes a difference and lets others know that our material is available. Cam Underwood is my co-host. He's virtually sitting next to me. He's the managing editor at State of the U. You can follow them at the State of the U. And Cam, every once in a while, at Underwood Sports. I'm Brian the Beast London. Follow me at Miami Radio Beast. I do not manage a website, but Cam does. It's State of the U and StateOfTheU.com. Cam, it is the best place for all Canes fans to go get all of their Canes information, and it is free. Tell the fans what is up at State of the U.
Yeah, man, we got the feed going there, so be sure that you hop in with that. I'm going to try to maybe put a couple prompts to get the people going. But yeah, we talked about some scheduling stuff. So I just posted after it was announced the kick times and TV coverage for, through the month of September for the football team. Jordan Lopez talked about Miami's presence on On3's top 100 college football players and what that portends for Miami moving forward in the 2026 season. Our all 22 film reviews continue from Justin DeTavio, looking at the defense versus Notre Dame in the opener last year. The offense was also down there. And more Monday Musings baseball stuff from Craig T. Smith, another Miami Hurricanes baseball fan. Louisville, all 22, more Monday Musings, the recruiting rules, and more. StateOfTheU.com. It's just a click away. You should go check it out.
Thank you, my friend. All right, let's get into football recruiting. It is a big OV weekend at the U. Get me hyped. Get me excited. Tell me what I need to know. Who should I look at? Whose film should I watch? What should I know about this situation?
Yeah, so the recruiting calendar has changed, and summer official visits are now the biggest thing in the world.
Okay.
In-season visits are huge for flip candidates down the line and everything, but with most players reclassify or early enrolling and things like that, you really want to get them locked in. So yeah, these summer months before the dead period is really where you're going to see a lot of these visits. So after Memorial Day weekend last weekend, we're starting off very strong across the sport, but especially for the University of Miami. So there are, I believe, 6 commitments who are visiting this weekend. Your top-rated commit, Dante Wright, 5-star corner from Long Beach Poly. No-cut Nick Lanier, formerly of Miami Northwestern, who now goes to Miami Carroll City, also a 5-star. King Hall from Dothan, a recent cornerback commit. AJ Randall, linebacker commit from Garner, North Carolina, and Sean Tatum, the offensive lineman from Fort Pierce, and Ezekiel Ayangbile from Houston. Those are your commitments who are going to be here on campus hanging out and trying to get others to join them. Those are all elite players, all blue chip players, and a pair or a couple of 5-stars. So that's great because you're going to hopefully secure or firm up their commitment even more than it already is, and have them do peer-to-peer recruiting with the other players who are going to be visiting. And there are tons of them who will be. Leading the way of otherwise or uncommitted players, Jaden Bryant from Irmo, South Carolina, 6'3", 250, defensive end edge, committed to LSU at present. He's the number 19 player in the country on the 247 Sports Composite. He has been favorably compared to Ruben Bain for stature and performance. In my mind, then, go where Ruben Bain went. You know what I mean? Like, right. Why would LSU? I know that Lane is there, and they are a top-tier team in the world of college football, and I know that their NIL backing is strong as well. So there are reasons to go to LSU. But if everybody's like, he's a tank-built or a defensive lineman who can play outside and a little bit inside, a little stocky, maybe not the longest arms in the world, you just saw great success with that guy here previously. So that's a guy that Miami's been chasing and will be chasing. Also down this weekend for a huge visit, the number 1 linebacker, or should be, I believe, but he's, I think, rated number 3 currently, from Tampa Jesuit, Caden Henderson. Whereas number 1 for Tampa Jesuit, he's definitely our number 1 target at linebacker. This kid is incredible. He's so good. Buddy of mine who follows recruiting usually very strongly, hadn't heard of him. And I was like, oh, you're going to want to watch that film. He always says, man, am I going to like it? Am I going to be? I said, our other thing is, how many plays do I need to watch in this film before I see what I need to see? And I said, honestly, over under 1.5. You don't need to watch much film on Caden Henderson to see all of the gifts that God has given him athletically. And everybody in America is chasing this kid. So it's going to be interesting. Miami's not necessarily done well recruiting from Tampa Jesuit in recent years. So it'll be interesting to see if we can break that streak with Caden Henderson, and the full court press will be on. Julius Jones from St. Thomas Aquinas, a speedy 5'10 receiver, son of Julius Jones, who played at Notre Dame, will be on campus as Miami looks to add other wide receivers to this class. Eli Woodard, a recent USC decommit from Temecula Chaparral High School, will be on campus. A lot of people are saying they're looking at Eli Woodard potentially on commit watch coming into this visit.
Okay.
So, it was reported multiple places that basically USC kind of tried to do the old Saban Alabama thing and say you cannot communicate or take visits with or take visits to other teams. And Eli Woodard just said, I want to do that. And if that means that I need to decommit from SC, then, fight on y'all over there, and I'm going to keep out. So he's on campus. The best fight song in the world, by the way.
Listen, man. I could do a whole show on the USC marching band.
Come on.
Because
that key change in the middle?
Yeah. When they came down here to play Oklahoma, I think it was, I could not get, I followed that marching band around this entire city. They're so cool.
It.
Yeah.
I believe it. Yeah. No, but that, yeah. Sorry. Anyways, we're talking about official visits. But anyway, formerly committed to USC, Eli Woodard, an incredibly talented wide receiver. So that's another player to be on the lookout for. Noah Glover, linebacker from Virginia, 4-star. Also, Jalathan Mayfield from North Carolina, another linebacker. Both of those guys in the 6'1", 210 to 215 range. As Miami, is looking to add other players with AJ Randall, who recently committed. So, in a perfect world, you just get Caden Henderson, set it, forget it, and keep it moving. But there are options abounding. Jaden Carey, a corner from St. Thomas Aquinas, will be visiting. A kind of a under the radar, well, not under the radar, but a 3-star edge from Spain Park, Alabama. Marquise Evans will be visiting. DeMarco Jenkins from Texas, who's a 6'3", 270-pound defensive tackle, and Loa Valade, who's a Canadian who's recently moved down to West Boca with a very strong athletic profile at good size at almost 6 foot, 180 pounds, playing safety, rounds out the list. So there might be another visitor, probably not, but we're looking at like 16 dudes. Again, 6 of them already committed. Really looking to make moves with Jaden Bryant, Caden Henderson, and Eli Woodard. Anything past that, I think, would be bonus. But like, you really, really, really want to hit the high notes with the guys at the top of the list who are either committed elsewhere in Bryant or uncommitted in the Woodard and Henderson, respectively. But yeah, it's going to be a big weekend on campus. Haven't done my really. I usually do a piece, and I need to probably write this today if I'm going to do it, where I look at the official visits, but also look at the away game visits of like who is visiting elsewhere that either is committed to Miami or Miami is chasing. It'll be really interesting when I dive into that to see. But for the players who are going to be on campus, there's a large contingent of really, really good players. And again, if it were me, I would really be focused at the three at the top, Bryant, Henderson, and Woodard, for who I really want to see Miami make moves for.
Question. By the way, that was a great rundown, and I look forward to any kind of info you put out there at StateOfTheU.com, and also I look forward to seeing the bat signal, hopefully at some point from D-Train. But question, because as I peruse a plethora of Kane's websites and social media accounts and whatnot, we evidently a tight end. Jordan Karhoff from Columbus, Ohio, is going to Virginia Tech and not to Miami, and people are losing their absolute minds. And I brought this up to you before the show, and you're like, no, we're good at tight end. And I'm just wondering, because I tend to be, chicken with my head cut off, like, oh, we didn't get a guy. Ah! And you're just, hey, like, chill over here.
Yeah, I am really excited about the players that we've added at tight end in recent years. I really am high on Brock Schott. I know that he left to go home to Indiana and play for the Hoosiers, but like, I think we have players of that caliber. Like Luka Gilbert played as a true freshman. I'm very excited for him, and he's 6'7", 6'8". I think that he's developing very well. You still have Jackson Carver from years ago, who could be maybe a blocking or rotational guy, but like Gavin Mueller in this class, like true freshman, like, I mean, like, if you can get Gilbert and Mueller, and then like people are saying that Israel Briggs has actually bulked up, and he's not just a glorified wide receiver playing inside. Like, he looks like he can be somebody who can add in rotational snaps and have impact at tight end. I'm very excited for that next era of player. And I think that we have the talent that we need and the kind of guys that we need at that position already, to the point where, do I think that we need tight ends in this class? One in a possible, I would like to add somebody. I'm not necessarily, I don't think that we're bereft of talent there. And I don't think that we need to necessarily like panic at that position. So I mean, like, there have been a couple tight ends who are like, dude, you guys have recruited a whole bunch of monsters in front of me, and maybe I find a better opportunity for myself elsewhere. Good luck and Godspeed.
Also, it seems like our offensive coordinator may or may not throw or get the ball to the tight end.
See, but I think the thing
we would like.
No, I push back on that. I think the ball finds who it needs to find, and if you have the players to make the plays, the ball finds them. Remember Elijah Arroyo, first-round draft pick?
Yeah, I do remember that. But
right. But my point is, when he was injured the previous year, right, the year before Cam Ward, 2023, when he was injured that season, the ball didn't find the tight end a lot, and we talked about it often and said, we need the ball to find the tight end. We need tight ends to make plays. Elijah Arroyo gets healthy, first-round draft pick, and he did all of them numbers. Elijah Arroyo's not there. Talent drops off. Ball didn't necessarily find them a lot, because we tried to have the ball find number 9, because we were told that he was the most dynamic playmaker in the entire program, and we saw how that went. Honestly, Cam McCormick did a great job in his limited time of receiving passes in 2024, who had the first touchdown of the season at Florida in the Swamp. By the way, if you don't remember, when he was 37 years old in his 18th year.
Come on, man.
Fine. He was in his 9th year, and he was 26 years old, to be true and exact. 26 or 27. Whatever. But my point is, When you had players who could make the plays at tight end, they did it. So I'm not going to fault Shannon Dawson.
So Jimmy's and Joe's and not the X's and O's?
Look, if you need the Jimmys and Joes to make the X's and O's come alive, Brian, you have to have the players. And we tried. If you look at the targets by game, and we talked about this, how they were trying to get Elijah Lofton going in the Notre Dame game, how they were trying to get him going against Bethune-Cookman and things like that. And it didn't work. And then we said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put number 10, Malachi Toney, in the slot, and we're going to take all of these kind of things that would otherwise go to the tight ends, and we're going to feed them to him. And he had the best season of a receiver of any chronology ever in the history of Miami Hurricanes football, which leads me to a point that I saw them make. I think it was D-Money and Amon Richards, the new co-host on Canes Insight podcast. I know Pete was talking about this. I know other people were talking about this. Yo, why don't we go maybe 3 and 4 wide more this year? We have all this talented receiver, and then we can slowly work in your Luka Gilberts and your Gavin Muellers of the world, because we have better talent on the outside, and we're not going to – dog, I'm not trying to make fetch happen again. Call me Gretchen Wieners or whatever. Fetch doesn't have – no, it's not so fetch. Stop it. Stop it. I don't want to hear it, bro. So, no, I don't want to hear it about that anymore with tight end or about the original point about Shannon Dawson not calling an offense that gets players the ball. When we have the players to make the plays, they get the ball. Again, look, 2 years ago, Elijah Lofton, coming off of multiple years of injuries, was a first-round draft pick playing what? Tight end in this offense. Miss me.
Okay, I'm just throwing this out there. This could be complete hoonanny, okay? Which is, I think it also somewhat depends on what quarterback is throwing the football, because they're comfortable throwing the ball to certain guys and maybe not to others. And I think the person you have throwing the football does have an impact on who gets the football.
I mean,
like Cam Ward loved Elijah Arroyo and got him the football.
And he was open. He made the plays. He got where he needed to go. I mean, like, what do you... I don't know what you want. He also loved Xavier Strepo.
Yeah.
Why? Xavier Strepo was 7'11", always open. The ball finds the guys. So that whole rant, I believe, is me saying...
Listen to me.
I think that the guy who was supposed to be the guy at tight end isn't, and maybe some of these other guys are, which has taken us in a different pathway from recruiting, but it feeds together because you got to get the guys through recruiting to be the guys on Saturday or Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays.
The bottom line is I shouldn't have a meltdown because we're not getting the one tight end that everyone wanted.
He was like the third tight end. Because other tight ends that we've recruited in this class decided to go elsewhere earlier. Like, he wasn't even like.
Well, that's why I think he became the next best thing, because all the two other guys went somewhere else. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm not concerned, honestly. Like, it depends on what you're looking for. I think that we have star power in these last 2 classes between the guys that I've mentioned, Luka Gilbert, Israel Briggs, and Gavin Mueller. What are you really going to, are you trying to, I mean, obviously you're trying to get the best players possible, but if you're looking to fill a void on this roster with this, I don't necessarily think that player at tight end exists in this recruiting class. And I don't think that the necessity to get a breakout superstar to change the trajectory and the talent in that room exists either, because of what we've done in the last couple of years. Getting another player so that you have quality depth and would be, and like future potential would be great, but you do not have to have everybody's All-American, to make this class work and this roster work. I just don't believe that.
All right, before we get out of here, there was some football schedule news as 3 games were announced as far as times go. So let's get to that. We already know the Stanford game, the first game of the season, 99 days away from when we're recording this Thursday afternoon, is Friday, September 4th at 9 p.m. Thursday, September 10th, FAMU, Hard Rock Stadium, that's an 8 p.m. start, so tailgate all day, people. Friday, September 18th at Wake Forest, 7:30 p.m., and Saturday against the Chippewas of Central Michigan, Saturday, September 26th, 6:30 p.m.
On The CW.
On the CW, which I do not like at all. But
I mean,
the ACC will do ACC things.
but I mean, look, they had a choice, like they have to, with the connection with the ACC, they're doing, the CW is doing games and everything. And they said, look, this is probably the only time that they're going to get Miami this year as a title, television sponsor. Hey, we're cashing in that. I know that it's against Directional Michigan, and I know it's in September, and I know whatever. People scrolling will say, hey, Miami on our network is a win for us. So they made the one choice. There's not going to be another time that they're going to get a Miami game. So they cashed in their one chip. So I don't begrudge the CW. I think really if you have a problem, then you got to go back to the ACC conference.
No. I mean, I have a huge problem with the conference and the media deal they signed, and we're in lock on that media deal for 27 billion years and can't get out of it. And all of the other conferences are going to pass us by, and the Big Ten and the SEC are running things. Meanwhile, we're just over here doing bad things to ourselves. Anyways, that's a conversation for another time. What I want to end the show with is basketball, because the opponents home and away were just announced for basketball. And
conference opponents.
Conference opponents. So it's an 18-game ACC schedule, 9 home games, 9 away contests. Miami's primary partner is Florida State, so they will play them on the road and at home, and also take on Pitt twice in the weird ACC situation. And then at home, Miami will host Clemson, NC State, Notre Dame, SMU, Syracuse, Virginia, and Wake Forest. That is your home ACC slate. Your road ACC slate is Cal, Duke, Georgia Tech, Louisville, North Carolina, Stanford, and Virginia Tech. So yes, there is going to be some sort of long West Coast trip with the Cal-Stanford situation. Cam did his due diligence before the show started, because I was going to argue that the ACC would try to screw Miami and make them go to like Cal, come back, and then go back out to Stanford. But Cam has found most instances where the conference will schedule those 2 games back-to-back for teams so that they just have to make one West Coast trip.
Yeah, I stopped when I got to 5 instances.
Yeah, that's enough. That's enough
of that last year alone.
Yeah.
So it seems a pretty standard thing where, like, if you're going to the left coast, hit up both, get it out of the way, and then make your way back. And that was based on last year's schedule. So we don't actually have the firm schedule for it. But, I don't think that. But, I mean, hey, maybe they break tendency and they say Miami's the one team that they would send out there twice. But again, in every instance that I saw up through 5, and then I ended my research through that, all those teams hit both on the same trip last year.
By the way, of course, on the road at Duke and at North Carolina is always fun, because I don't know. I just, you know what?
Those will be separate trips probably, though.
No, I get that. I'm just, the conference just doesn't like us. By the way, the women's basketball team did play. So they played Stanford and Cal. I think it was 2 years ago. No, it wasn't. Could it have been 2 years ago?
Could have been.
It could have been. I think it was all in one trip, but that's neither here nor there. I look forward to Jay Lucas's team this season. That was an amazing hire for the University of Miami. By the way, just an update. Still have no idea who the athletic director is going to be. A lot more fodder on former Canes, I think it was associate athletic director for external operations, Jim Frivola, who's now running FC Bournemouth in the Premier League. Looks like he is getting a lot more look for an alum to come home and be the athletic director, so we'll see how that goes. Haven't heard as much about former Panthers president Michael Yormark, but who knows what's happening. I think, that's got to be solved in the next month or so, I would think.
We'll see.
By July 1st.
Dan Radakovic's last day is Monday.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, his last day at the U and my kid's last day in high school. He graduates Monday. Has to be at the graduation ceremony at 6:45 a.m. Fun times.
Oh, I hated those.
Yep. I'll never forget my graduation because when I graduated, we did not have an on-campus arena yet.
Mm.
I had to be on the big lawn, the green area at the University of Miami, somewhere between the Richter Library and the Student Center.
Yeah, the green.
I had to
Yeah,
be there like at 7:45 in the morning after being out all night in the hot sun with my cap and gown on. Yeah, it was it
yeah,
was it was, it was a tough deal, and it was hot, and
yeah.
I was dehydrated as it was, and there was bad things happening.
I think the Convocation Center, now known as the Bank United or the Watsco. Sorry, I
Yep,
went through all of the names, but it was still unbranded at the time. The Convocation Center, the
yeah,
gym,
that's correct.
was in its second year. I think it went up my senior year, and then I did an extra semester for student teaching, and then I graduated December. So like, yeah, we had it in there, which was a blessing because it was a blazing hot December day when I graduated and whatnot. So yeah, that was a good time. Yeah,
Yeah, no, the Watsco Center, formerly known as the Convocation Center, the Bank United Center of all the centers, opened in 2003.
yep. Okay, so exactly right. Look
Yeah,
at me. Look at me. Memory like a steel
you.
trap.
All right. We will see everyone next time.
Mm-hmm.
We hope that you subscribe. We hope that you share. We hope that you like. We hope that you comment. We hope that you give us 5 stars and tell the people to listen to the Real Ones Canes podcast and to watch the Real Ones Canes podcast. Cam, it has been a pleasure to reunite with you, and I shall see your shiny, happy dome next week, my friend. Until next time, peace.